Hey, what's going on, y'all? Eric Mulder here with Code Red Conversations. Thanks for joining me on this live episode. Or if you're catching the replay, thank you for joining me. I'm doing things a little different. I got rocking the headphones today because I noticed a little bit of echo on the last show when I was showing some of the videos. So keep me mindful of that, guys. If you come across any content if you see anything that echo or any audio issues, let me know because I'll do the best I can to work on it because I really want to bring y'all the best content possible. Today's episode, if you hadn't seen already, is going to be addressing. I love talking about policing and the tactics and various things related to that. But I also have a pretty good, I also have a passion regarding the area of safety and tactics, things that you can do as an individual to protect yourself and keep yourself safe and healthy and well and all that good stuff. So if the stream is good, if the sound is good, let me know in the comments in the chat real quick. I would greatly appreciate that. And we will jump right in. Thank you all for joining me. I see I already have a little bit of a crowd, so I'm thankful for that. I appreciate y'all being here again. I can't stress that enough. So what made me decide to talk about this topic? Aside from the fact that it's just another area, one of the many areas that I'm passionate about, I guess when you served a career, when you had a long career as in some sort of law enforcement or in a protector capacity, and I think a lot of that stemmed back from my days as a kid, as when I would see people being bullied. Once I got mature enough where I wasn't doing it when I was little, there were times where I did stupid stuff like that too. I'm not proud of it, but that's just the reality. But once I got older and I experienced bullying on my own and I just saw how harmful it could be, I just developed this mindset of a protector early on in life. And I'm going back to junior high school on some occasions. Then when I got into the martial arts, and then during my high school days, and then joining the army and being a medic. Then once I left the army, getting into corrections and working in the corrections field for years, and then being a patrol officer, wrapping up my career as a patrol officer. Now, even now, although I'm retired, I've been retired for coming up on 8 years. I still have that heart. I still have that mindset of a protector. And I don't think it's ever going to go away, honestly. I think it's just part of how God made me, wanting to be there to protect people, to help people, and things like that. So you hear me good, Mike? Hey, appreciate it, brother. Thanks for stopping in real quick to check me out. I appreciate it. So I do my daily checks on social media where I just see if there's anything worthy of having a conversation on. So I came across a fair amount of videos today on where I just saw people, road rage incidents, shootings, situations where individuals should have or could have done more and they chose not to get involved. So it just really said, I always have this burden, and I really just wanted to bring it in front of y'all today, and let's just have a chat. Let's just have a conversation. Hey, Lon, good to see you, brother. You never lose it. I agree, man. Honestly, I think that in the long term, even if the Lord lets me see later years, 70s, 80s, when I'm physically not able to do the things that I'm able to do now, I still believe to some degree that I will always have the desire to be a protector in some capacity, in some way, shape, or form. Always. And I think that's why I hit the weights like I do to try to keep my bones and joints strong. So I'm not as a totally brittle old man, that I'm still kind of capable. I want to be the anomaly. I don't want to just be worn out. Lord willing, I stay healthy. And I want to be the anomaly. I want to be the rare guy, the old guy that can still kick some butt, if that's possible. But I wanted to share a few things with y'all today. And so, and get your thoughts. Get your thoughts on this. Where's my Instagram at? I always have issues with Instagram. I have no idea why that is. But today should be an interesting show. Slightly different, not totally, because y'all know I kind of like to go there. But we'll hit up on which one will we hit up on first? Okay. Here's an incident that I found to be. Oh, hold on. I got a list here. I got a list here. We'll play this one here.
Hey. Ой, блядь, подожди, я включаю.
And this building is a fucking building. He's having that and guy has the gun.
So a fight quickly escalated into a guy threatening another dude with a gun. Very quickly escalated to that. And I want y'all to know, I want y'all to be mindful of that reality, how quickly things can, because I have a PowerPoint presentation at the end. This is how seriously I took this episode. I created a short PowerPoint presentation to reiterate the points. I'm going to go through the videos. I'll respond to any of your comments. If you have any comments, use the chat, y'all, and use the chat and enjoy it. And when the comment comes up, I'll bring it up on the screen. And if it's relevant to what we're talking about, even if it's not, I'll still bring it up and we'll have a discussion about it. And I created 8 points today I want to talk about, but that was a good example. That was a prime example of how quickly things can get ugly. I don't know what the big cause, what the argument was about. Video starts and you're right in the middle of things. So none of us know exactly what went down. But you see a fist fight going on. You hear someone yelling, "You're about to die, homie." I don't know who that was, which party it was. Maybe we'll watch the video again. But I'm not sure who was the one saying "you're about to die, homie." Was it the guy, the Hispanic dude who was tossing the other guy around, or was it the guy who knew he had the gun? That's the question. We don't know. But we live in a world today. One of the comments were in the, let me bring that up real quick. Let me bring this video back up. One of the comments was that on this post, where is it at here? Bring this back up. Turn the volume down here real quick. Somebody comment, the main host or one of the main people, street people of Los Angeles. Good site to go to on Instagram. They have some good content. But he's a typical weakling that can't handle a one-on-one. Now, I agree with that. However, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who you're coming in contact with on a regular basis. You don't know if this person is just ready to just throw hands, or if they are the type to escalate things and make it all of a sudden now you're dealing with a deadly confrontation. You just don't know. So the smart thing to do would be to be wise in your confrontations and in your conversations. Once again, we don't know what caused this. We don't know if this fight was a justified one or was it just a machismo, bravado, ego thing. None of us know. But there's a good chance that it was just ego involved. And if that's the case, if you just feel disrespected, now I don't care, honestly, these are just my thoughts. Because I've seen, as a cop, as a CO, as an average everyday citizen, I've seen things escalate so quickly to where I'm at the mindset of, man, you're just smarter just to walk away. Now, if you're cornered and there's nothing you can do about it, then do what you have to do. But you are smarter to just walk away than to engage in a fight that can quickly turn ugly. that can quickly become violent. I think there are too many of us right now that are too mindful, too many people. And I think this is not just here in America. A lot of people love to throw the term toxic masculinity and all this stuff and being critical of US citizens and whatnot. But I think that there's a reality to how some people are all about their ego. And disrespect is like the worst thing that you can do in a lot of communities. The worst thing you can do to someone is make them feel disrespected. Then they feel like they're justified in doing Lord knows what. They feel as if they're justified in doing whatever. And I think that's just dumb. Cooler heads will always prevail in most situations. Be the smart person involved. Don't be the idiot, because what could have been, what you may think going in might just be a regular scrap where you're just going to throw hands and end it. It could end up being your funeral, leading to your funeral, or someone you love, or another person. Now you have legal issues, because if you throw hands and you drop this dude and he falls down, hits his head on the concrete, now he's in a coma, fractures his skull, or worse, ends up dead. Now you have a series of legal battles that you have to fight. And it's not like in the movies where you can just get in the fight and move on. A lot of times it's way worse than that. Are you prepared for that legal headache? Are you prepared for the public criticism, your name being raked through the coals, and your family's name being raked through the coals in the mud, and all the criticism and everything associated with that? Are you mindful of that? Because if you're not, then that's a problem. That's a problem. And that's a problem that most people do not consider. Okay, let's show the next video here. Like I said, I got a list of things I want to, order I'd like to show. All right, where's this one at here? Okay. Now this was a, I'm not sure if I can. I can't make it bigger. But this isn't a fight, but it does go to show the necessity of being aware of your surroundings, of being mindful of your environment. And when I'm done with watching these videos, we'll backtrack and we'll go over all of these and some additional content, because I created a PowerPoint, like I said, to help us navigate through these. Random lady. Let me just read a little bit of this information here. Security video shows two suspects attempting to kidnap a 34-year-old woman as she walked down Dauphine Street in Marigny neighborhood around 11 p.m. Thursday in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let me show y'all the video. Now, according to this news source, let me get to the point where she gets grabbed. She's walking down. Look at this. Now, I don't know what she was doing, where her head was at, and I'm not blaming her. Honestly, I'm not going to necessarily blame her, not completely. But I wonder where her head was at during this incident. You see a car pull in. I don't know if she was even aware. Was she in her phone? Did she initially notice the car pull in ahead of her, or was she totally oblivious to it? But if she did see it, you see a car swoop in and you're walking down that road, what's the best way to handle that? Cross the street? Run if you have to. Get across the street and run? Because that's just odd. Who does that? And it goes back to the point of us needing to be very mindful of our surroundings, needing to know what's happening in our vicinity, where we've been, what's across the street, what's down the road from us, too many times you see people just walking and they got their head in their phone, head up their behind. If we want to keep it real, too many times you see people who aren't careful, aren't paying attention to what's going on in front of them. And then they open themselves up to situations like this. Now, again, I'm not throwing all the blame on this woman because I don't know what she knew. I don't know. But it seems as if, from what we can gather, from what we see, that she could have been aware of what happened because that vehicle pulled in long before she got there. There were a few seconds, 5, 10 or more, from when the vehicle pulled up ahead of her in an unusual position as she's walking down the road. Now, I don't know what her relationship is to these guys or whatever went down, but that was just a really odd one. And there are too many times in our society today where we are too preoccupied with what we have going on. There are too many ways to be distracted to where people are walking down the street or walking through a store clueless as to what's going on around them. And it can lead to a loss of life. And here the article says that she managed to get away. And if that's true, I'm thankful for that. But it could have easily went sideways. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in today, man. We got to catch up. I know I always say that, but we definitely need to catch up. All right. So that's video number 2. Got a lot of good content here today, y'all. Now, this one here, I want to stop this one immediately. This one here shows you how quickly things can escalate. Now, I'm not sure when this took place. This was a video that, I'm not sure when this went down, but this is another example. The first video I showed that can show how quickly things can escalate, but this one right here, this one is even creepier, probably because of the intimacy of the contact, how close they were together. But just pay attention. You have to really be mindful and see exactly what happens. I may have to show this one a couple of times. They're having a conversation. Looks like it might be an argument.
Tomou pau. Apanhando, né? Oxi.
Dude pulls out a knife, stabs him.
Tô a faca no cara, velho.
Now see if I can stop to show him reaching back.
Apanhando, né?
Right there. That quick. I don't know once again, who knows what the conversation was? Could have been a simple discussion. The dude with the knife could have been mentally ill for all I know. But look how quickly he reacted. Look how quickly he just pulled out the knife and stabbed the dude. That fast, right there.
Oxi.
Look at him running. Knife in hand. And that's a big knife too. What level, how much damage did he suffer? Who knows? But that could have been a fatal attack for all we know. Man, I just tell you, I'll let the rest of the video play. He's just running down the street because he knew what he did was crazy.
Tô a faca no cara, velho.
Sounds like Brazil. Sounds like they're speaking Portuguese. I'm not sure. But man, oh man. There are too many times where, let me shrink this down. The world is, from what I gather, from what I've seen, and I think there's data to support this, with the violence and the crime rate increasing across our country. You see more attacks on the police. So obviously people are being more brazen. If they don't respect the authority when it comes to law enforcement, what do you think they'll do to you if they feel as if you're getting in their way? You have to be conscious of that. So the moment you go to confront someone, And I'm not saying that every confrontation is a bad one. All I'm saying is just that we have to be careful with our confrontations. Not every battle, and this is something I'm going to get into with my presentation. Not every battle is a hill worth dying on. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. If you're in a movie theater, for instance, and there's somebody behind you talking, there's nothing wrong with asking them to keep it down. I've done that on many an occasion. But you also have to know that some people may feel as if they're being disrespected, or somebody may look at it depending on your tone and how you go at it. If you tell them to shut the blank F up or something like that, and you start going off and you start cussing them out, there's a difference between, excuse me, y'all, can y'all keep it down, please? There's a big difference in between those. And there's nothing wrong with the latter, but just being respectful in your tone and in your conversation. Once again, we're living in what is clearly an increasingly violent world, where people, like I said a moment ago, have so little respect for the law. Man, to pull out a knife or pull out a gun on you or I, what does that mean? These days, it means nothing. At least those are my thoughts. I don't know what y'all think, but I honestly believe it means so little to most people that your best bet is to avoid confrontation if at all possible. If at all possible. Doesn't mean you sit up there and you let yourself be disrespected. Doesn't mean you don't have conversations and discussions with people if someone's doing something dumb or making a lot of noise, and you ask them politely or respectfully to keep it down or whatever. But you don't know. We don't know the mindset. We don't know the mentality. You could be dealing with someone who's mentally ill on the other end. Do you know that? No, none of us do. Okay, here's another incident that took place not that long ago. I'll mute it because somebody decided to play some Pat Benatar. Allegedly, this is not allegedly, it cleared as a Black woman and an Asian woman in San Francisco. I don't know if this lady's mentally ill, but the thing that really gets me on this video is you see someone standing right there, man standing right there watching the whole thing. This lady is forcing this chick, the woman against the wall, to give her money in her face. Do we know the details? No, none whatsoever. So it could be something the Asian lady instigated, for all I know. What I do know is that I believe this made it the news headlines. This was a news story. And then you have a man over here who, for whatever reason, chooses not to get involved. And I think that's the part that irritates me the most. Whoops, let me plug in my computer real quick. Hang tight, y'all. Before we totally lose connection. But you have a man there who just chooses not to get involved. If you see something going down, let's say that these are totally the Asian woman against the wall is a totally innocent party. She's being victimized. What would you do if you were in that situation and you were the man standing by? What would you do? How would you respond? Put your comments in the chat. I'd appreciate it. Would you just sit back and not want to get involved? Now, I think that there are reasons to not get involved. I think there are some good reasons sometimes for an individual not to get involved. Physically, I'm speaking of. But there are typically other ways that you can get involved as an individual. You can make a phone call 911. You can yell, make a scene. Hopefully someone else will call 911. You can record it, video record it. If you are physically incapable of getting involved or fearful because maybe that person had a weapon or they displayed violent or erratic behavior, which made you believe that they might be mentally ill and you really didn't want to get involved. Let's say you're a woman. I get it. However, there are things that you can do as an individual to impact the situation. And not every one of those involves getting in there and throwing hands. That's something we have to remember. Not every situation involves you getting in there and throwing hands. There are various other ways you can go about being helpful to someone who's in a bad setting. You just have to just think of them. It's pretty simple. We all have phones. I would say 99.999% of the population has a phone, especially as an adult. Sitting back and doing absolutely nothing, that's just sad. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because we really, truly don't know everything that went down. We don't know. But it's not a good look. I'll say that much. All right. I think I have one more or two more videos to share with y'all. So when I talk about picking your battles, choosing your battles, we can't be any, we can't take that too lightly. And here's one good example. This one right here is making all the rounds here. Let me know if y'all seen it already. So allegedly, these two got into he got into an argument with someone on the roadway. And then he hit his brake when the guy got behind him. Then the person got real close and then passed him. And this is what happens.
Oh my God. Oh, fuck off.
Look at this. Back that up a little bit. This is totally insane to me. And how they got the video. Now, the shooter here claims that he thought he heard gunfire. This is what he says. He says that he thought he heard gunfire prior to shooting. Now, I did hear something weird. I'm not trying to take this guy's side or anything like that, but I don't know who he is. Maybe he's a gangbanger, and I thought I heard something weird when the guy drove by. So maybe he thought he was dealing with a potential enemy or whatever. Lord knows. But this is what's out there on the road, y'all. This is what's out there on the road. These are the type of guys that you will most likely come in contact with. So the next time you honk your horn and ride your horn for a long time and tailgate someone just because you're pissed off at how they're driving, is that smart? You be the judge on that. I'll let you be the judge. And here's another one that goes right along in that same vein. Another similar video. I'll show you clip 1, scene 1, then scene 2 from the same incident.
I'm recording, don't worry. Get on. God.
I'll back it up.
Mom, call 911 before.
I'll show it again.
I'm recording, don't worry. Oh, fuck. Oh my, get on. God. Is he shooting him, Mom? Yes. Let's go. Call 911. Mom, call 911.
Okay, here's that same video from a different angle. Same incident. I mean, who does that? The comment of the day is right here. Someone says this cameraman has balls of steel. I gotta concur. There's no way in the world I'd be sitting up there recording that incident. No way in the world I'd be sitting up there recording that. Because you don't know, man, I gotta look over at you and see you recording him shooting, throwing rounds down range, and you're just gonna sit up there and record it. He's crazy. I mean, we're glad that he did. I did hear ultimately that the shooter on this incident turned himself in, which is a good thing. And if you can see the previous video related of the same incident, you can see them getting into it, having an argument, just an argument. And then it escalates to him shooting. But again, guy on the street, dude on the street. Most people don't think that that's the guy they're going to run into when they decide to go off on somebody. But you got clowns like that out there in this world. People just like that in this world. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that guy? All right. Okay, with that being said, y'all, let's switch things over here to my presentation. I'll keep it short, Lord willing. Yeah, I'll keep it short. But I just I jotted down a few things that were of concern to me, the way things are going in this world. And these are just a few things that you might be able to do to protect yourself, protect your loved ones in this world that's going increasingly insane. Now, first and foremost, I want to put out there, as a Christian man, I would be doing a tremendous disservice if I did not offer to you or mention to you the reality, or say to you the reality that life is fleeting and life is short. And we have to understand that we've all sinned and fallen short of a holy God's righteous standard. So if we die in our sin, the scripture calls us an enemy of God. So we need to understand that we need to make things right, but we're incapable of reconciling ourselves to a holy God on our own. We have to trust in the finished work of Christ on the cross to remove our sin, to forgive us of our sins, to heal us, and to transform us by his grace. So before I get into all this tactical stuff, know that ultimately we will all have to stand before a holy God. And the question is whether you're going to be an enemy of God or whether you will be adopted and taken and adopted into his family. So the choice is yours. But repent and believe the gospel, please, if you don't already know him. But let's move on into the primary segment of this. Rosemary, what's going on? I was already paranoid. Right. Man, there's some days where I've been in cars with my friends, my family, and they're driving down the road, and then they come across some idiot cuts them off, or somebody just cuts them off. I don't want to say an idiot because I've done that before, just not being smart, just kind of not in my right state of mind or frame of mind, and I've cut people off before. So I don't want to berate everyone, assume that they're an idiot. But I think too many of us are so prone to want to just fly off the handle when someone does something like that. Just go off the handle, riding the horn, riding all up on them. My mindset is always this. I don't know what that person is dealing with in their car. I can't say always, because there are days where I get caught up and I get irritated too. I'm just as guilty as anyone else. But I try to keep the mindset of you just don't know what that individual is dealing with in that car. I try to remember that I've done it as well on many an occasion. So, and then when it's all said and done, me riding the horn or tailgating them or yelling at them, or as some people do, cussing them out. What do you gain from any of that? Like what's when it's all said and done, is that person hearing you most of the time? No. Is that going to make them change their actions? Most likely no. So it's really just wasted energy. But I wanted to go over this presentation, short presentation. I'll wrap it up with y'all today. Thank you again for joining me. But I can't stress how crazy things have gotten, especially over the last 3-4 years. Actually, probably a little more. Going back to 2014, 2015, since the whole Trayvon Martin incident, with the rise of BLM and the Michael Brown case, we've seen our world just thrown into chaos, our country in particularly. And you may find yourself in a situation that you may not be expecting. And these are just a few things that I came up with off the top of my head. 8 life-saving tips. Some of these overlap, y'all, but 8 potentially life-saving tips that can change your whole world. Number 1, as this video demonstrated, you need to be mindful. Hold on, why is this not working here? Okay. Oh, I can navigate it here. Number 1, you need to be mindful of your surroundings. You need to be mindful of what's going on around you. Hey, what's going on, brother? Thanks for stopping in real quick. I appreciate you. Hey, I saw you. We're about to rent that video, man. How wokeness has impacted the church. I saw it yesterday, and me and the family are going to sit down and watch it today, man. I saw they had you on there. Hey, y'all, if y'all aren't familiar with my man, the proverbial life, Edwin Ramirez, make sure you check him out on YouTube. Brother's got a dope channel. He shares his story of how the Lord ultimately woke him up and moved him out of being involved in the whole woke social justice movement. And so check him out. I highly suggest y'all go over and check out the brother on YouTube. And I forget Fanning the Flame on Instagram, and excellent content, excellent Christ-centered biblical content. And he deals with all aspects of it, how we address each other in various contexts. Good stuff. What you got here real quick, Lon? Too many people know how to operate a motor vehicle, but too few really know how to drive. Very true, brother. Very true. Very, very true. Hey, yeah, man, I will definitely let you know. It looks really good. That documentary looks really good. I think it's on that Salem Now, their website. I got it on one of my other pages here that's opened up. I don't want to bring that up, right? Slow my content down, because we've been dealing with some internet issues. I paid my bill, so that ain't the problem. But it's just real. The weather's real bad out here in Vegas. It's real windy. I think it's causing all kinds of problems. All right, let me get back to my presentation here. But the first thing that you want to do is, or one of the first things you can do, this is no particular order, but you want to be mindful of your surroundings. You need to be mindful of your surroundings. When you're going into a store, pulling into a parking lot, gas station, coming home, and that's one place where people really get caught up, is on their way home. Most of the time, you let your guard down, and you're not thinking that you might have to deal with a potential threat somewhere outside the home, or maybe even inside your home. So, and there are too many occasions where people have their minds, their heads stuck in their cell phones, and they're oblivious to what's going on. I always try to tell people that when you arrive at a gas station, to pick up gas, especially if it's late at night. But bad things can happen at any night, any time of the day. People are being gunned down in broad daylight. It's real. So, and if we look at the event, the situation on the side of the road where the attempted kidnapping in one of the first videos I showed you, being mindful of that woman, being mindful of her surroundings, that could have changed that whole game. Thankfully, they say that she managed to get away. But I cannot emphasize enough the necessity of you knowing what's going on around you, what's going on, as I said earlier, behind you, to your left or right, and ahead of you. And if you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable, who cares what people have to say? If people think, oh, he or she's being racist or whatever, stereotyping by crossing the street, then you cross the street because you're protecting your own life or the life of you or a loved one or whomever it may be, a friend. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. All right, let's move on to slide number 2. Slide number 2 says, my font is real small here, so I have to go to the actual PowerPoint. Work on, and y'all know me. Y'all know there's a few points that I'm always going to bring up. Work on improving your fitness. I cannot stress that enough, y'all. Whoops, let me back up. Work on improving your fitness. Being physically fit is such a powerful deterrent option. Just think about it. You're at the mall. Next thing you know, an active shooting breaks out. You're on one side of the mall. Your car's on the other side of the mall. And then you have to get past the shooter or whatever, and you have to run. He or she may be after you, for all we know. What are you going to do? If you're, and a lot of these are, let me make a caveat here. A lot of these are age and physical fitness levels or health specific or dependent. If you're sickly and you have a lot of medical issues, I know there are limitations. I know not everything I'm saying may necessarily apply. But what I am asking is that do what you can to whatever level, whatever your physical abilities are, to try to protect yourself. Try to improve your physical fitness. I've seen too many videos where an individual gets held up against the wall and they can't get away because the other person's stronger than them. Now, you're not going to be stronger than everybody. That's just not reality. But there are things you can do to minimize the gap in strength. If you have to push someone off, I always tell people, especially women, women love working cardio at the gym and they love working their lower body. A lot of women almost completely neglect their upper body, like almost completely. They might do a little, some small dumbbells and do some curls and maybe some tricep extensions. But it's rare when I see a woman doing push-ups or bench pressing or deadlifting or doing heavier back squats. It's rare when I see that. But if you build strength, that increases your ability to be able to protect. You never know when you may have to run, jump, climb, push, pull, drag something or someone in order to save a life. You never know. You just don't know. So that's why in the military, especially the more elite you get, the physical fitness becomes a greater standard. The standard of fitness in the military, there's a basic standard. They recently increased the standard with the Army Combat Fitness Test. I believe that's what they call it. And I heard it's kicking people's behinds left and right. I love it personally. I love it. I think the standard needs to be raised. We just got done with 20 years of war, or we're basically done with 20 years of war. Now, we didn't have to pull out the way we did, but that's a whole conversation for another day. But the reality of war in the world that we're dealing with is increasing if you're a soldier. But based on just a few of the videos I showed today and just some news sources, unless you're just totally not paying to the world that you're in, there is a reality, there is a great heightened risk of you coming in contact with a violent encounter, or at least a threat of that. There is an increased risk depending on the neighborhood you're living in. That's also a factor. And there are too many people that just don't care about their health, none whatsoever. There's nothing stopping them other than a lack of inner motivation. And that's just really sad to me, especially for men, especially for men. Well, actually, I would say especially for women, because women have a tendency to be victimized more. I would say because they're an easier target just when you're talking about from a physicality standpoint. But man, oh man, let me tell y'all something. I'm 51. I talk about it all the time. I'm 51 and I have a plan set up for this year. Lord willing, I stay healthy because I can't control everything, but there's a lot I can't control. I will do everything in my power. This will be the year I'm in my best shape. That's my goal. 51. Now we're talking about in the Army, man, my cardio is on point. I could run my butt off. I can crank out 90 push-ups in 2 minutes and 90 sit-ups in 2 minutes. And I ran at 12. My best time was 12:40 on the 2-mile run. Now I'm not expecting to be running the 12:40, but if I can get my time, if I can cut my time tremendously down and dramatically improve my cardiovascular conditioning, dramatically improve my speed, be able to run further, longer, and I'm lifting, I'm hitting the weights about 3 times a week. I'm doing cardio every day I go to the gym. And so I do a 5-day a week schedule. So Monday is leg day. Tuesday is running. So Monday is legs and cardio because I do stairs every day, or at least 4 days a week. Monday is leg day, legs and cardio. And Tuesday is running specific cardio where I either do a longer interval or I do a longer cardio focus, building my aerobic capacity, or I will do some interval work, or I may even throw in, and then let me back up also on Monday, typically I'll throw in a CrossFit style workout. So I have my strength day, CrossFit style workout that usually incorporates some of the same muscle groups. Wednesday will come around, it's like today. Today was back day, deadlifted. I did pull-ups. I did about 55 pull-ups on Monday as part of a CrossFit workout, CrossFit Cindy. Awesome workout, minimal equipment necessary. 20 minutes where you do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 air squats, as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes. And this was after doing 5 sets of 6 or 6 sets of 5 in back squats. And then and prior to that, it was 20 minutes on the stairs. So and then we finished off our legs. We did some calf presses. So that was Monday. So Tuesday I was smoked, but I still went ahead and did my running, even though I felt the effects of it. So today was back day. We did deadlifts, 6 sets of 5 on deadlifts, trying to build up to go heavier. Then we did some lat pull downs, lat pulls, and some bicep curls, 4 or 5 sets of 8 reps. And then we finished it off with 25 pull-ups. So it was, and beginning again, we did 15 minutes on the stairs. Tomorrow, we plan on running, doing 2 or 3 minute intervals with a 2 or 3 minute break in between, doing 6 of those at a heightened speed. There's a routine, there's a game plan. Then I finish it off on Friday with benching, push-ups. Or for me, I typically do dips, push-ups, triceps, and shoulders. And maybe 20 minutes of cardio, 20 minutes on the stairs. And then the weekend, I rest. But here I am, 51, about to be 52 in March, and I go to the gym and I go all out. I push. I don't go 100 miles an hour every day. I don't go full throttle every workout. Today we eased back a little bit because I wanted to be a little more specific on building strength. And we cranked it pretty hard with the CrossFit workout and then running the 20 minutes of cardio. And I'm just trying to build up. I'm trying to be able to build up. I have a few goals. I want to be able to run by the end of the year, Lord willing. I want to run a half marathon for the first time in my life. I want to be in top shape. And I just try to encourage folks to do that. And I do that for one, because of health. I want to be physically as healthy as possible as I get older. And I want to neutralize or reverse some of the aging process that has hit me over the years. But I also think about it because you just never know what life may throw at you. You just never know when you're sitting there and you may have to run. As I mentioned, you may have to run for your life. You just don't know. And what distance, what can you possibly have to run? You don't know. We don't know. So your best bet is to build a high level of physical fitness. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and do what I'm doing. But I think that being strong, being flexible, and another thing, Monday through Friday, the first thing I do when I roll out of bed, one of the first things I do is I go in our spare bedroom and I stretch for 20 to 30 minutes. I do that every morning while I'm listening to an audiobook. Every morning, that's my routine, just to get my day started. Then I get into my other routine where I'm reading and in my word and prayer time, all that kind of stuff. But that's my daily, that's the start of my day, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, kind of chill out. I may do a little stretching here and there, but that has decreased my risk of injury which kind of comes with the territory as we get older. But there are a lot of things that we can do to really change things up. But I know that if I can recall that on October 1st, during that shooting that took place here in Vegas, there were a few friends of mine. My daughter was house sitting, and the couple that she was house sitting for were big CrossFitters, and they had a bunch of other friends from the gym that were into CrossFit. And one of the ladies competed at a pretty high level, and she said that when they were running, they got to a point where they were trying to get over this fence, and there were people over there who were just struggling. They couldn't get over it. And the fact that she's small, physically small, but she's not weak, and she's very fit. And she was able to help get people over the wall, and she had no issue, wall or fence. She had no issue because of that fact that she took such good care of her body and that she challenged herself physically to be in the best shape possible. Again, I'm not espousing CrossFit as the end-all, be-all. I think there are a lot of issues when it comes to CrossFit as a whole, when it comes to a holistic method of fitness. I think that it misses a few things, especially more rotational work. They don't do much of that. And there are a lot of supportive muscles that aren't worked, which leads to a lot of shoulder and knee injuries and things like that. But if you know how to train and you can incorporate some of that into your workout, which is what we do, 1 or 2 CrossFit workouts a week, plus some body weight work. We work our stabilizer muscles twice a week, and our hips and our shoulders, all because we want health. We want to remain healthy. We do bodybuilding. We mix it all up in our workouts. Our workouts aren't boring. They're long at times, but at the same time, I have a goal. I plan on being able to run 13 miles by the end of the year. I'm not even close to that right now. Right now, I'm running 1.5 miles, but I'm building up incrementally to, by the time December rolls around, I should be around 12 or 13 miles and running. Because I'm a big guy and I'm not trying to be out there running 5 miles tomorrow, go from 1 to 5 and end up getting hurt. So there's a plan. But long story short, get healthy, get fit, get your crap together, because you never know what life may throw your way. All right, number 3. What do I have here? Consider carrying a weapon. Consider carrying a weapon. Let me look at some of the comments real quick, guys. I saw some of y'all commented here. Let me back up. I apologize for that. I got on my little tirade there for a minute. I think fitness is number 1. People look at things like that, whether you are an easy target. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. If you're walking around, and I've said this before in the last couple of weeks when we're talking about policing and fat cops and cops not being fit or able to fight, and there's a lot of correlation there into the civilian world. But when they see you and they see that you might be sloppy or real skinny and frail. Why do you think so often, especially recently, when you hear about the elderly being attacked, especially in places like New York and in California, these people target these folks because they know that they're an easy target. They know that they're an easy target or easier target. And which will bring me into my my tip number 3, but I'll get there in a second after I check out the rest of these comments. But excellent point. Hey, I try, brother. And honestly, if any of y'all out there need some advice or some tips about getting fit and healthy, man, shoot me a message. Honestly, I will gladly help you because it's been a passion in my life since I was a teenager. I've always been physically active most of my life, but there's a passion, but it's something I love training people. I actually own my own business for a time as a personal trainer. And it's something that I just love helping people with. Yeah, brother. Leg days, man. You can't play around with that. I think legs, why I always talk about leg days, because the muscles are so big. And when you're doing a heavy or hard leg day, it hurts. And it can really be a gut check, because I know a lot of people who don't like touching their legs. They don't like working legs at all. Huge upper body, strong bench, strong shoulder presses, can curl a bunch of weight, but they have no power in their lower body. And if you're in a physical confrontation, if you find yourself in a situation where you can't avoid it, or you need to run, jump, climb, all the things I mentioned earlier, strength is important. Conditioning is absolutely vital, no doubt about it, but strength is just as important as cardiovascular conditioning. I'm exhausted just hearing about your workout. Yeah, man. Me and my daughter we put it in. I know there's some days where she's like, this old man right here trying to kill me. Well, at least that's what, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I know there's some days where it's really funny when she works out on her own. She can push it pretty good, but she usually does her cardio. But when I join, get back involved, let's say I was out sick or had an injury. Thankfully, hasn't been any of that lately, or nothing significant. When I'm not training with her, when I come back, she knows, okay, things are about to step up, because I don't take it lightly. I do not take it lightly. I got to see that pull-up gang. Yeah, man. I threw a video up where I think I cranked out about 18 or 20, tried to do 20 in a row. I think I got up to 18 or so. Not bad for a dude my size. Walking around in my, around 230 or so. I put in that work, man. I put in that work. You can find me on Instagram, man. I think I posted a video on Instagram a few months back. If you're going to carry, know your weapon and how to use it. Yes. I'll get back to that here in a second. People barely do pull-ups. I don't get it, man. I mean, you know what? Pull-ups are hard. Pull-ups are hard, and that's why a lot of people don't do them, because it takes a lot of effort to get up underneath that bar to the point to where you can build up to where you're lifting your own body weight up, and not just once or twice, but multiple times. That's hard work. And a lot of people aren't willing to go there. I do them every time I'm in the gym. Nice, man. I probably hit it once a week, but usually I'm hitting 50 reps. So I'm building that long-term strength. This week we did it twice. I did 55 on Monday because of the workout we did. And then today, being back day, I said, man, we're just going to focus on weights, cables and barbell and dumbbells. But then I was like, when we're done, I was like, man, let me just knock out a few pull-ups, because, I like keeping that body weight conditioning. I only had physical jobs, but never really ever worked out in the gym. It depends on what your job you're talking about. If you got a job where you're really pushing hard, it could be just as good. If it's a manual labor job. I remember seeing this couple that helped us move once we had moved back from Arkansas here to Vegas. There was this married couple who moved people in and out. That was their job. And they were really, really fit. Really, really fit. And I was just thinking, man, And they were like, yeah, we don't go to the gym. This is just how we stay fit. And I was like, man, I ain't trying to have that job. That's not a job I want. I don't mind being fit. I don't mind pushing and doing manual labor, but every day, Monday through Friday, nah, wasn't too interested. Anyway, let me get back to the main topic here. Consider carrying a weapon. Of course, this is dependent on what city, state, county you're living in, what the laws are, and what you're confident in carrying. But you have to consider that because you can find yourself in any situation. You can find yourself being outnumbered. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if someone kicks in your door and you're a female, 5'3", 115 pounds, and you have 5 dudes kick in your door during a home invasion? You're going to pepper spray them? You're going to try to take a knife to them? No, that ain't going to work. That's why I believe you should consider, everyone who's capable should consider carrying a firearm, being in possession of one. If you're at home, having one nearby, easily accessible. Because, man, I'm telling y'all, I've seen too many. I've had to investigate multiple home invasions over the years as a cop. Seen too many videos of people who are victims of home invasions. A firearm is the ultimate equalizer. Ultimate equalizer. Ain't nobody trying to get shot. Ain't nobody trying to get shot. And if you're small and you find yourself outnumbered, that's why this whole idea of limited magazines, 10-round mags, the only people who think like that are people who are protected and who don't have to worry about stuff like that. But if you're a 70-year-old grandma and someone tries to break into your home or breaks into your home and you're there helpless, and you shouldn't be defenseless. You shouldn't be helpless. Grab an AR-15, doesn't have a whole lot of kick, because people always talk about having a shotgun. Sometimes shotguns could be too much. An AR-15, the kick isn't nearly as strong. If it's a young girl or just an older or unhealthy male, you need to be able to have those equalizers. And typically people who are always talking about quote unquote, common sense gun laws, common sense gun laws is typically where they want to disarm the innocent, where the suspect, the evil predators out there aren't going to have to worry as much about a deadly threat coming back at them. It's just irrational thinking. Irrational thinking. All right, next clip here. Have an emergency family plan. And for the second time, I'm going to move through these other topics pretty quickly. But it's good to have a plan with your family in case you guys are at a mall or something goes down and you're separated from each other. Have a way to communicate. Have a location to meet at if you're in an emergency setting. It would even be smart to have a password or something like that, so you know that maybe even a distress code or word, so you can know that something bad is happening and where that other person may need help. Those are some things you need to consider. Transportation, how to get home if you guys are separated from your vehicles. Whose home you can go to in an emergency, maybe someone living nearby. Various things like that would be very good and very helpful and beneficial for a family. Alejandro, you have a comment here. I've been working in construction lately. Yeah, that's some good hard work right there, man. All right, next slide. Learn how to be a good witness. As I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to get into this here a little more later, but not every instance is a situation where you need to get physically involved, especially if you don't have the tools, physical or tactical, to be able to help a situation. If you're seeing someone get beat down and you're physically capable of getting in there, that would be a good thing. If you can stop someone, if you have the ability, that's a good thing. The tools, if you're carrying a gun, tell the suspect to back off, holding at gunpoint, various things like that. If you're confident and capable in your tools, or if you want to get in the mix, and so be it. But also you got to be careful because you don't know what you're going to be dealing with. You don't know what that other person's got on the other side. So you have to take those things into account. But pay attention. But if it's a situation where you can't get physically involved, get a physical description. What kind of clothing were they wearing? Blue jeans, blue hat, blue t-shirt. What ethnic group are they? What's their ethnicity? Black, brown, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, whatever. What's their ethnic group? How tall are they roughly? What's their hair length? Eye color, if you can see it, if you're in a position where you can see it. What direction of travel did they go? What direction of travel did they go? Various things that you can do where you can be a phenomenal witness and you can actually help law enforcement track down the perpetrator. Learn how to fight. I can go on and on with this one, so I will intentionally keep it short. But once again, this is dependent on what your physical capabilities are, but you have to be able to protect yourself. I think it is a tragedy and a travesty for anyone today to not be able to protect themselves. Any physically healthy individual to not have the ability to defend themselves or defend the lives of someone else, especially men. Especially men. When my brother was out here, when we had family out here for Christmas, I was trying to convince one of my brothers to get his boys into martial arts. And he was saying, well, his oldest son didn't want to do it. And I was like, man, I wouldn't even care. I'd make him do it. The amount, if you get into a good school, the discipline you can learn, because I'm sure like most kids these days, he goes home, does his homework, and then he sits in front of the TV and plays video games for hours on end and watches YouTube videos. And in the meantime, his body is deteriorating at a young age, and he cannot take care of himself as far as if a potential dangerous threat comes his way. Incapable. Now I know I think differently than a lot of people. I get it. I already know that. Been doing martial arts since I was 17 years old. I'm not training right now at this moment, but I've had enough training in my life to where even when I've been in threats and not in the middle of training, I've been able to summon up those skills and use those skills to protect me and others because I have had so many years of training in my life. Now, I'm not making an excuse. I need to get my butt back in the gym, back into a martial arts dojo and I plan on doing that before this year's up, Lord willing. But you can go to a karate school, a boxing gym, find a good grappling art, whether it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu or judo, kickboxing, if you're the average citizen. Now, if you're in law enforcement, if you want to check out my video from, it was last week, one of my videos last week or the week before, where I talk about, are you combat ready or fight ready? Or something along those lines. I made a video where I was talking about it. And if you see the thumbnail, it's got me holding up a UFC belt, me being silly as I always was on patrol. But if you're the average citizen, you can keep it real simple and real basic and just be able to protect yourself in a few ranges of combat, be fit enough to where you can take off running if you have to get away, and you'll be in a good situation. But I intentionally kept it short because I know how I can get. Pick your battles, y'all. That video, the videos of the road ragers that I showed should be all the information that you need to know that you need to pick your battles and be wise and be smart and realize that you can't just be sitting up there just doing whatever you want to do and cussing people out and threatening people and tailgating because you do not know, and I probably said it 100 times during this live today, you do not know the mentality of the other person. You don't know. So pick your battles. Not every battle is a hill worth dying on. And lastly, when you get involved wisely. Getting involved could be you being a witness, a smart witness, as I mentioned earlier. Getting involved could entail you actually getting into a physical confrontation with somebody. Getting involved could be you actually pulling a weapon on someone. So if you're going to do it wisely, make sure you know what's going on. Make sure you're paying attention. You have a good understanding of what went down. And you know what you're capable of. You know what you're capable of. You know what your tools are. You're proficient in your tools. Tools, I mean weapons. If you're using a gun, a taser, pepper spray, and knife, depending on the situation, know what's going on. Being a good witness and getting involved, they go hand in hand. Picking your battles and getting involved, they go hand in hand. So be wise in your routine assessments so that in the end, you're not putting yourself or anyone else in liability. All right, y'all. Once again, I thank y'all for stopping by, checking out my channel, checking out my videos. Feel free, if you haven't done so already, head on over to my YouTube channel and on Instagram where you can find me at Code Red Conversations. Follow me. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Follow my video content. I've been trying to be more consistent. I've been putting out more longer form videos, no question about it. And I have multiple shorter videos lined up. I just haven't gotten around to doing it because I have so many things going on. And I'm pretty much a one-man show over here. Hopefully, Lord willing, this year I'll be able to get some help, get some assistance so I can get my content out my shorter form content out on a more consistent basis and all the other projects that I'm currently working on. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate you guys swinging in, stopping by like you do, because I think the content I'm putting out there is pretty good. So share it, let other people know about it. I know I deal with a lot of controversial issues, but it is what it is. I'm all about the truth, and I know the truth is going to put me at odds with a lot of people on various sides of the argument of the equation, especially when it comes to policing. But I know my heart's in the right place. I know I'm a seeker of truth. Ultimately, I seek to honor Christ in all that I do. So therefore, I'm not just going to get caught up in something just because other folks who look like me believe it. That's not how I operate. That's not how I get down. And if people have a problem with that, they know where to find me. We can have a conversation. We can go live together. We can discuss some of these issues. But typically I find when it comes down to the issues of policing, and a lot of people don't really want to go online and have a debate. They typically just want to leave it alone. They want to go in their little corners and believe what they want to believe, and they want to offer some counter arguments or different perspective on it. A lot of times they don't want to hear it. There's a lot of emotion involved in a lot of stuff that I talk about, but I'm passionate about it. I honestly believe, and my focus is to save lives, whether I'm talking about individual tactics for the average citizen or whether I'm talking about helping out a cop make better choices or telling a citizen to stop running and stop trying to fight the police because all the police aren't bad and you're misguided into believing that crap. Man, that's what I care about. I honestly care about helping people out, helping save lives. But once again, I appreciate y'all being here. Much love. Y'all be coming through hard and strong. I love it. I appreciate it. And if you have any ideas or any content, any videos that you see that you'd like for me to chop up and discuss, feel free to send them my way. I'm always looking for more content. I have some good stuff lined up for Friday, Lord willing, for a show I think y'all appreciate. Once again, thank y'all for swinging by, checking me out. And as always, in the meantime, stay safe, God bless, and make sure you join the conversation. I'm out.